Hey YouTube family, how are you guys doing? Hope you're all doing well. It's time for another episode of you and me checking out gear in my basement. Now this is gear that you guys have already seen me use, but as the title says, Quilter versus Quilter is newer, really better, and I'm really the one who wants to know. I purchased this Quilter Direct amp. Now this isn't an amp. It's just basically a DI for electric guitar. It's got a lot of cool features on it. However, I've been using these things, the Quilter Superblocks, for years now. Love them. They're great. Now, mind you, I've always been using my Superblocks with cabinets. I have a pedal board that has a bi-amp system, so I have the Superblock UK and the US one on there, and I usually run those to a 212 cab where each speaker is wired separately from each other. So I have one amp going to one speaker and the other amp going to the other. So I'm getting two different amp sounds coming out of the same cabinet. It's really cool. So that's what I've been using for like bigger gigs. Smaller gigs, I would use like a 110 or a 112 cab and just run one Quilter Superblock, either the UK or the US one, whichever one I fancied that night. Recently, my bass player has gone direct. No amp cab on stage. Bass sounds fantastic. All kinds of bass guitar. No worries whatsoever. So I thought, you know what? I don't mind leaving an extra cabinet at home, so maybe I could do that too. Which is why I bought the Quilter Direct amp. I thought, I'll just go direct. However, did I really need to do that? Because with the Quilter Superblock UK and the Quilter Superblock US, you can plug a 9-volt adapter in there, so long as you're running 300 milliamps, and you can run it on standby mode. Don't even have to connect it to a speaker cab, and you can run direct to the board. So, which essentially is the same thing as the Quilter Direct amp. That's basically what the Quilter Direct amp is. It's like a pedal. It runs off a 9-volt adapter, and this one only requires 250 milliamps. Basically, when you're comparing the two, it's the same, right? So I was wondering, sound-wise, is the Direct amp better suited for that job? I know there's a lot of Quilter fans out there, and I thought inquiring minds might like to know. If you currently have a Superblock, and you're running it with a speaker cab, or you decide to run it direct, is there really an advantage in getting the Direct amp by Quilter? Is it going to sound better? Like, yeah, it has more knobs and features and it has foot switches, but at the end of the day, the guitar tone that you're getting, is that really an overall improvement? Because if I'm going to drop more money on another amp, I want an overall better sound than what I'm currently using. Otherwise, that money could have just stayed in my bank account for something else, right? That's just me. That's just how I think. If it's not better, or why would I change? So let's get right down to it. So for this little test, I'm only going to run the Quilter on the 9-volt mode because the Direct amp doesn't have another option. The Quilter does come with its own power adapter. It's called a PS24 adapter. And when you connect the Quilter Superblock to that power input, the Quilter Superblock's internal amplifier is fully activated at 25 watts when you're running an 8 ohm speaker load. I think the Quilter Superblock sounds better on the 25 watt mode, whether you're running to a speaker cab or if you're running direct. So for you guys who are curious about that, stick around at the end of this video when we're done comparing the Direct amp with the Superblock, and I will do a Superblock to Superblock comparison with the different power sources. All the sounds you'll be hearing today will be coming from that Headrush 108 monitor, and we'll be using this little pedal board. I'll just be swapping the Superblock for the Direct amp. Not going to use any delay. I'm not going to use any compressor. We're just going to let the amps do their thing. I will use a spark booster to boost the Quilter Superblock, but the Direct amp has its own boost pedal, so we will do that. I know the Superblock and the Direct Amp are different, but they do have similar features as far as the tone stack goes. The master volume will be approximately at 10 o'clock. The reverb is going to be off to begin with. Treble about 11 o'clock, mids about at 1, bass at 10, limiter totally off, gain at 9. The Direct Amp is going to be exactly the same. We're going to have the master volume at about 10. Going to have the reverb off, treble about 11, mids about 1, bass right around 10, we'll say. Guess that's where I had the other one. Limiter off, and output and boost doesn't matter. We're not going to use the boost for now. And the gain will be roughly at 9 o'clock. So the gain is up here on the Direct Amp. Superblock UK, no reverb. Reverb, 12 o'clock. Direct amp, no reverb. Reverb, 12 o'clock. Now you have to activate the reverb on this. For this test, you'll notice the pedal board's on the floor because we're going to check to see if the wah effect is different. Extreme And right at the bottom. And sweep. Extreme. Right to the bottom. And sweep. External boost versus internal boost. So, definitely more options on the Direct Amp, but does it sound better tonally? You guys can leave your comments, and for those of you who want to stick around, let's check the Superblock 9-volt feature versus the PS24 25 watt adapter with the same settings. Here we go. 9-volt. Nine volt using the wah. 9-volt adapter, high gain, boost pedal. So there you have it, folks. Is newer better? Well, I don't know. There's definitely more options with the direct amp, but the Quilter Superblock will do the job and will do it well. Now, personally, I feel that the Quilter Superblock sounds better, just a little more articulate and a little meatier with the PS24 adapter. That's just me. That's just here in the room. Maybe you guys heard something different or didn't hear anything different at all. Comparing sound to sound, I think the direct amp has just a little bit more oomph running direct, which is what it's designed to do. So I guess maybe if that's your thing, this might be an option for you. However, for myself, knowing what I know now, had I had a comparison video or had I had access to a direct amp in a music store that I could have rented or borrowed and I could have ran this test here in the room, I would not have spent extra dollars to buy the direct amp. I think the Quilter Superblock UK or US sounds just as good running direct. The foot switches for me, I would never use them. You've heard me play, I'm simple at best. Nothing fancy. So if I have an effect on, it stays on for the rest of the night. The only effect that I will toggle on and off are my drive pedals. That's it. My delay stays on. On my bigger board, I have a tap tempo delay, so I will adjust that. On this board, the delay is just, what it is all night long, and I don't play with it. Again, I'm just, a weekend gigger, nothing professional. So it is what it is. I like having the versatility of running direct and through a cab at the same time. That's cool. I've been doing that for years. Now, whatever's coming out front is coming out of my monitor, and I do not have an extra cab on stage. Will that change in the future? Yeah, probably. But for now, I'm liking it. It's really easy on the ears. No extra volume on stage. So it's pretty good. So I'm going to keep using the direct amp for the next couple of gigs that are coming up. And if something comes up or I notice something that's excellent or really bad, I will let you know. But as of right now, as far as I'm concerned, both are fantastic. Clearly, the direct amp is designed for direct use and it has a lot more features. So if that's what you're looking for, rock and roll. But if you have a Quilter Superblock and you like the tone of it, line it out, run direct. All you have to do is put the switch on standby. You don't even have to turn it to the on position, and you have yourself a great little direct amp. So whatever floats your boat. Thanks for watching, guys. God bless, and I'll see you in the next one.